I should have listened to my mom. I should have opened up a nail salon. Hey, funny story about that.
You were this close to a successful business, and you didn't even know.
Oh, dude. I don't know what it is.
Ties toes. There you go, dude. The folks at Jinko Fishing not only bring you the Low Budget Live podcast, they also bring you all the action, like that amazing rolling action right here in the Don minnow, and introducing the new Don Senior, the big minnow. It is big minnow season. If you've ever thrown a big profile minnow on a jig head like this, you understand the power it has on big bass, especially in the wintertime. Well, you can pair this up with the new Revolution head that has a 5/0 hook in it. That's the problem with some of these big minnows, is you can't find a jig head with a big enough hook, and now the folks at Jinko have your back with that. They've got that new 5/0 in the Revolution head. At jinkofishing.com, all you got to do is use code LBL20 to save you some money and let them know you're a low-lifer. All right, hang that dadgum banner. The Bassmaster Classic winning aluminum bass snatcher, the Express X21 Pro. They got that new XR21 that I cannot wait to get my hands on, but I love the X21 Pro. It is the standard when it comes to aluminum big old bass boats. 96-inch beam, fastest hole shot in the game with that 250 Yamaha show strap to the back, more tackle storage than you can shake a stick at, and I will assure you it can go this deep, or it can fish out in the middle of the lake in the biggest water you can throw at it. Express boats, they've been building excitement since 1966. Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night. And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine. The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't care. No, nope. I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there. Low budget live, the not so live variety from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill here in beautiful southern Middle Tennessee, and hope you're all doing well out there, you bunch of daggum low lifers. And Low Budget Live is brought to you by the folks at Jinko Fishing. Use code LBL20 to save at jinkofishing.com. And I got to get out there on the water and get me a little Jinko action yesterday. I ain't gonna lie, them smallmouth bass down on the Tennessee River. We're enjoying the 3.5-inch booty shaker swim bait yesterday. Caught me some old biggins. Got the old Express out on the water for a few hours, and I'm actually recording this a little bit early because I've got to roll to Auburn, Alabama to help commentate the Logan Parks Insane Tournament. It pairs college angler with high school angler. It's a very, very neat deal. Tons of prize money, scholarship money. They give away a boat. I believe they give away a nitro. It's insane. Get it? But Logan Parks Fishing Foundation, he set this thing up after him and Tucker Smith won the Bass Pro Shops $1 million deal there. And it's a really neat event, man. And I'm glad to get to be a small part of it this year. And I've had Logan on the show to talk about it over the years a couple times, I believe. And yeah, we're gonna commentate down there. They're doing 1 day of coverage. So as you're listening to this, that will have already happened. But yeah, man. So the Bassmaster Open is not finished. So I don't know who won the last Bassmaster EQ of the year, but I can say that our little buddy that we had on here last week, Fisher Anaya, is your Bassmaster EQ Angler of the freaking year. Where's that button at? Right there. 19 years young. Bassmaster EQ Angler of the Year. Here comes another one. As we talked about, this youth is something to see, man, and that's why I'm so pumped about events like this Logan Park situation. It's just crazy to see for a 42-year-old man. It's crazy to see that there's this much excitement amongst these young anglers about the sport that so many of us love. So, and that's before we jump into today's guest. That was the point last week of the few minutes I spent talking about just complete and total idiocy and social media towards these young anglers. And there were a few guys that took that the wrong way. I think probably because they're the kind of people that would say that, and that's fine. But yeah, I got some heat for voicing my opinion. So even from some folks that say, man, I've listened to you every week for years. Well, then you know that I'll tend to say what I feel and what I think. Then you don't know me too well if you were shocked by anything that I said. But someone said I alienated my audience, or I was going after my audience. I'm like, I what? Excuse me? That wasn't the intent. That wasn't the intent whatsoever. I just think that we could all do a better job on how we act and react to things at times. I really do. And that's speaking for myself. Congrats though to Fisher. He's been crushing it this week. He boat flipped a 9-pounder on live. Again, negativity ensued beyond that, but really cool to see, man. And like I said, known his dad for a very long time. Good dude. And man, I know he cannot be more proud of his son and all the guys that are going to make the elites, man. There was a lot of moving and shaking down there on the points. We'll get the final list get sorted out today as I record this. So hopefully we can get some of those guys on that qualify and get to know them a little bit better before they head into this new endeavor that is the Bassmaster Elite Series. Of course, I feel like in professional bass fishing today, we can't have an event that doesn't have some kind of drama around a rule infraction or something. And unfortunately, there was a situation at Okeechobee that, man, I don't think we've got necessarily a cheating problem in fishing that's just like overwhelming. I think that there are definitely people that push the envelope. I think that there are people that have pushed the envelope for very many years. I think there are blatant people that do not care about some rules, but I think that is a small sample set. I think the rules tend to hurt the good guys. And that's very similar to laws and just your general everyday life, right? They are the only people that really admire laws are people that follow the rules and the laws. Like the laws don't apply to people that don't give a damn, right? So I think that's what you're running into. And there's this big cracking down of the information rule and things like that on the Bassmaster side in particular. And it's getting to the point where it's just silly. You know, I've said on here many times, and I know this was the thought process of a lot of people on the Scott Martin thing earlier this year. The issue there was intent, right? It's intent. If you go looking for it, you are knowingly breaking the rules, and that was the situation there. And I understand he's got hordes of fans that feel otherwise. I do think like the Matt Herron incident was different than that. I think the Logan Latuso thing was different than that. I think potentially, I don't know all the details, but like the KJ Queen thing at the Mississippi River. Like there have been some weird ones this year, but the weirdest for me is Tai Au, and I hope I'm saying his name right, and I'll get to ask him here in a minute because we're gonna get his side of the story on this, and you be the judge. But he took a poly, and they said he failed the poly over a question, and he readily admitted this. You know, former EQ angler Josh Butler is a dear friend of his. Josh is a great dude from Alabama and a great fisherman, and not one of the scumbags that would do anything to kind of lead anybody astray, in my humble opinion. Ty from Arizona, making his way across the country, stops at Josh's on the way to Okeechobee, and he'll tell you this, but the gist of this was Josh was like, they're going to be scoping in them canals. Watch it on YouTube, watch Bassmaster or whatever. Just public knowledge stuff that Tai already knew, right? It didn't give him a competitive advantage anyway. And he wasn't asking Josh Butler for Lake Okeechobee help, right? Which is, to me, how I read all these rules. It's intent, it's soliciting information, and it's gotten kind of silly. But Tai was disqualified. He filed an appeal. And Ty's got a lot going on, man, and I'm sure he'll walk us through it. I talked to him a couple days ago on the phone, and I'm heartbroken for the guy because he is someone in the sport. I don't know him well, truly. First time we ever talked on the phone was the other day. I have met him at shows. He is one of the fishermen in this industry that I pull for, that I just randomly started following a couple years ago. He makes me laugh on a consistent basis. His social media is absolutely 10 out of 10. He separates himself from the masses, and he's also a great angler. But I think he's just such a unique guy. And man, his story has been very wild since he got into pro fishing. And I think that he's not a guy, at least from what I know, from what I can see, that would seek a competitive advantage by getting information. And he's very proud of the fact that he doesn't get information. He's kind of a loner and things like that. So I think it's a bad deal. I can let him speak to that, but more than the DQ, what I wanted to do with Tai today is let you hear his story on his life. We talked for a very long time the other night. I wish we'd been recording it, to be fair. What an incredible story. His parents, their story, leading to him being an American citizen. Like, just so many things, him risking it all to chase his dreams. Very interesting guy that you hate to see this happen to over something that's pretty silly. And again, I'm all for let's hammer down the rules. Y'all have heard me speak to this anytime anybody gets DQ'd, but a lot of times it's intent, and where there's smoke, there's fire. And sometimes there's a lot of smoke around these dudes that end up failing a poly. He's not one of those guys. He's not one of those guys. I genuinely feel like most people, other than Randy Howell, who he gives a hard time on social media all the time, jokingly, I feel like everybody likes Tai. I think nobody thinks, oh man, he's getting a lot of help. He's breaking the rules. He's not that kind of guy. So without further ado, I told myself I wasn't going to really talk much today. We was just going to jump right into this, but you know what? It's Luke Duncan's Low Budget Live. I got a microphone. I like to talk. So we'll set this up with that. Ladies and gentlemen, from Arizona, he's driven 3 days back home from Okeechobee, and he's joining us right now. Tai Au. Tai.
Yeah, he's butchering my name.
He did.
Like Tai Au, or
yeah, he was just trying to. Yeah, he didn't know.
Yeah, I don't think he knows. He's just trying to blend it in. I'm like, just trying to run it in there. I and then ow, like ow, it hurts. That's it.
It's easy. See, yeah, it's Tai Au, everybody, right there. Even that we were just talking about the fact that Slick Johnson probably didn't pronounce it right, but you know what? Slick, and he's got that thick Alabama accent, so he's excused on that, I guess. Well, welcome to Low Budget Live, dude. I hate that it's under these crazy circumstances, but like I said in the intro, like you and I have talked about, your story, not only from this event and everything that's happened, is worth telling. I told you this on the phone the other night. I've been a gigantic fan for a while now, and just pull for you. I don't know you that well, but I pull for you. I see what you put into this. Mm-hmm. And I think anybody that comes from Arizona to the East Coast, as much as you have over the years, sacrifice what you have, man. It's easy to pull for you, but your story's great. You're always you on social media, and I just appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, man, I just try to keep it real. The same person you talk to at the ramp, or just try to be that guy online. I think it's just easier that way, right? But my story started a long time ago when the FLW National Guard came to the Delta. At that time, I was like in a deep depression, man. I lost my business. So I found myself living with my little sister and being a prideful person. That hurts. And I just didn't want to do anything. And I was looking for a job. Job market's bad. My brother had called me and told me to go to the Delta with him. And I told him no, got an interview, calls me up. How did your interview go? I don't know yet. Let's go to the Delta. So he kept doing that. And like on the fourth time, he was like, dude, go to the Delta, help me drive. I'll pay for everything. I'm like, oh, should have just said that first. Let's go. So we went, man. And long story short, I found myself in the lead, okay, going into the final day. And gosh, I remember, man, my confidence is pretty high. I beat the first two boaters. One of the guys won a tour event out of Utah. And I think I had caught 26 fish to his like 6 or 7 from the back of the boat, throwing a wacky rig Senko. And, going to the final day, I thought I knew how to fish. I thought I was a 7 or 8. I drew Bobby Barrett. Okay. And yeah, Bobby Barrett. That was the first time I've ever fished with anybody at that caliber, like I would say a tour level caliber. And that guy is still to this very day the best caster presenter as far as presenting a frog I've ever seen.
Wow.
You literally throw a frog into a coffee cup and the wind was blowing like almost 20 miles an hour. Tully's going like this. You'll see the frog hover on the pocket, land, no splash, work it 10 inches, reels it back in, throws it into the same exact spot, does it 3 times before he hits the next pocket.
Jeez.
And I was just watching him in amazement. Like he was distracting me because he was just so good at it. And yeah, he smoked him that day. And I caught 3, lost a 4th one. And I came in, and at that time, man, I was struggling financially, about to go bankrupt, and had an opportunity to, do well. That would have bought me time. I wouldn't have filed bankruptcy. I mean, I couldn't even use my phone. I didn't have a bank account, okay, because I lost everything. So, kind of looking back at that, that when I came in, I came in second. I went around the bathroom and started dry heaving. Okay. I was sick to my stomach, man. And sure enough, winning $4,500 from like 20 something grand, it was a big difference.
No doubt.
Dried up in like, month and a half. And here we go. Life came spiraling down. But dude, that like sparked something inside of me, like a fire that you wouldn't believe, like the feeling of like the rush of cash. I caught like almost a 9-pounder that event. And man, I just loved every moment of it. So from that point, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to tournament fish. So when I got back, got a job, basically got a Honda Accord. My brother actually gave me that Honda Accord to get me back on my feet. And I drove around doing TBF tournaments because that's all I can afford. Dude, I couldn't even afford to practice on Friday. And I was sleeping out of my truck. The following year, I went back to the Delta. I vaguely remember it, but like, I'll see posters once in a while. It's like, yeah, man, I saw you at the Ramada. We were camping out, and I'm gluing Senkos with a hot knife together, just to have baits for the tournament. And top 10 there as a co-angler. So I started from the very bottom, man. So just kind of progressed through the different ranks. And
what time frame is this, Ty? What time frame is like that tournament with Bobby Barrett? When is that with your brother? It's your brother encourages you to go. What year is that?
Let me see. Yeah, actually 2002. I want to say 2012.
Okay, so
yeah,
ways back.
Yeah, a while back.
Yeah,
and yeah, man, it took a long time to kind of build up. And my second big break was, remember Tom Lee? You'll like this story. Remember Tom Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had saved up like $5,500. That's all I got. My son was not born yet, but he's due in May. Sometime late December, my brother calls me, hey, you should buy this boat. I didn't even have a place to keep it. I had a truck, but I didn't have a place to keep it. And he said, well, knowing my brother, he's financially savvy. And I got curious. I'm like, how much is this boat? And he told me, yeah, it's a 2006 Ranger Z20s, yellow and red, has a newer Evinrude with a 2-year warranty. Kind of sold me on it. And I know that boat was worth 20 something thousand at that time. Tom Lee was going to give it to us for 15 grand. I was like, oh, let me call you back. I called my dad and said, hey, Dad, I got $5,500. I need a loan for you. I can't touch my credit. I got to buy a house in May. So my dad loaned me the rest of the money. Dude, I told my brother, hey, pick up that boat. He was in Kentucky, towed it back. And anyway, the next paycheck, there was a tournament at Roosevelt. It was in 2012. This is 2012. And I got paid. I went to practice, filled up my truck and boat. I'll never forget. I looked at my bank account. I had $117 to my name. Mind you, I had no credit cards. That's all I had until 2 weeks. Okay. And I was like, man, I need to do good in this tournament. What's crazy is that's the first time I had, down scan, like somewhat of a nice boat. I had, I was slowing down as the boat was going out of a cove. Slowed down. I saw a tree and I see all these white dots. I'm all like, huh, that's cool. Well, Tom Lee had those little buoys. I took one, threw it out there, got in front, threw at the tree. First cast to catch a fish. And fishing was super tough. So anyway, on that tree, I fished that tree and kind of, went back and forth on that. It was a point with a tree on it. So I just kind of fished around that area. I finished 5th and I won $5,500. Yeah. 5 months later, I had to prove to the bank where that money came from. So I had to show them that receipt. And that's the down payment I used for this house here. I'm still here.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So I've been very fortunate, very lucky. And that's what I live for, man. I mean, I look back at the stuff that I've done. I cringe. I absolutely cringe. Like, I don't recommend it to anybody. Right. But gosh, man, when you do well in those, when your back's up against the wall, dude, you feel like you're on top of the world. That's what I'm addicted to. That's why I love this game. And fast forward to 2020, COVID.
Yep.
I wasn't even supposed to be fishing the Toyota series, but I was chasing my first win. I think I amassed 15 top 10s at the regional level between Wild West, Toyota series, and I still haven't won. Dude, it felt like trying to make it to the elite. So it weighed heavy on me. I was like mad. So I was determined to make it. I remember the IFC show was coming to Scottsdale and they were paying me, I think like $600 to speak there. And I'm considering, man, do I do the show for $600 or sign up for the Toyota series? Cause that's the closest thing we have at Havasu. Mm-hmm. That's not a shot to win. I'm not sponsored to do that. So I had to pay that on my credit card. And I'm like, what the heck? Who am I kidding? I'm going to go sign up. I signed up late and got in, did well. And before I knew it, that was my first win. Dude, that felt so good. There was a picture holding up the trophy.
Yeah, man, I've seen it.
Okay. Dude, I felt like I was on top of the world because I worked so hard to get there. And nobody can say that I didn't earn it. I mean, you saw me like just driving up and down the coast chasing that first win like a madman. So when I dedicate myself to something, I just go for it, man. It gives me a North Star direction and it gives me something to work towards. And that's what helps me in everything else, like my work life. I have to make enough money to make sure my family is good. Got to make sure that, I have enough money to fish tournaments. So that's pretty much what I'm about, man. It's just fishing is what motivates me and it helps me in every other aspect of my life. Anyway, fast forward, I never missed the Delta because that's the place I fell in love. I went out there at top 10. And mind you, again, I'm not supposed to be fishing Toyota series. I'm fishing Wild West. So I'm doing both circuits. I'm putting in overtime because I didn't have enough days off, juggling days and stuff, and trying to do the math on how I'm going to make it work. Well, before I knew it, I was like in second place on the Angler of the Year. So I'm like, man, I got to go to Clear Lake. Right. Well, on the way up to Clear Lake, I remember I called my brother. I was like, man, I might have enough points to make the invitationals.
As fishermen, I think we can all agree that fish are more pressured than ever before. So why not give yourself an edge every time you hit the water with bait fuel? Marinate your soft plastics in it, put it on your spinnerbait skirts, put it on your jig skirts, and use the hard bait stick on your jerk baits and crankbaits to create that scent cloud that's going to drive those fish crazy. It was developed in a lab. It's been proven in the water over and over and over again that fish love bait fuel. Fuel every bite with bait fuel. And when you're out there on your next trip, don't deal with battery issues. You should be running Pro Guide batteries, some of the best batteries in the game. They've been in business over 40 years. They're not a fly-by-night company. They make some of the best AGM and lithium products you will find. And now their new charger line, you have no excuses whatsoever. They got you covered A to Z to make sure your days on the water are spent headache-free when it comes to batteries and chargers. ProGuideBatteries.com. You can use code LBL10 to save some money and let them know you are a low lifer. Big news from the folks over at Gill Fishing. Their website's changed. GillMarine.com/fishing. GillMarine.com is where you can find all things Gill apparel, like this Meridian hoodie. A lot of hoodies that have a face mask built in are annoying. I'm just going to say it. It gets all up in your beard. It's great when you need a face mask, but when you don't want to be walking around with a face mask all up in here. The Meridian comes with a removable face mask, one of the most genius designs I've seen in a minute. It's becoming one of my favorite hoodies, no doubt about it. Just like their rain suits, their boots, all their gear. Cold weather is here. Get over to gillmarine.com/fishing. Use code LBL20 to let them know you're a lowlifer and save 20% at gillmarine.com/fishing. And last but not least, baitworks.com, bait-wrx.com. It's where you can find that LOB power finesse jig, 3/0 trocar hook, finer than frog hair skirt material, and it is an absolute bass catcher. Don't just take my word for it. Get over there to Baitworks. Get you some. Use code Duncan-10. Duncan-10 is going to save you cash at checkout on everything at baitworks.com.
And my brother's like, dude, before anything, hey, you make the invitationals, I'll give you $5,000 to help you out. I'm like, really? Oh, cool. Next phone call to Yamamoto, Ron Kobe at that time. Yeah. And, well, if you decide to go, count me in for, I forgot what the amount was. It's a decent amount. Oh, the heck? I called my buddy Kevin Finley with Signature Gate. He was going to chip in. I was like, dude, I got more than half of the entry fees. So again, it's just something to consider. Anyways, 3 phone calls had, got most, well, I want to say 20 something grand knocked out, and I needed 30. I went to Clear Lake. I was just trying to win Angler of the Year, man. And practice did not go good. That tournament was a mess. I showed up. My boat wasn't even fully rigged. Never even started my motor. I just picked up my Bass Cat. I had a tournament at Lake Mead. We couldn't fish out of my boat because of the quagga mussels. Anyway, after that tournament, I stopped by a Lowe's. I installed everything on my boat, most of everything on my boat in the Lowe's parking lot in Vegas. Drove all the way up. I'm like, man, I hope this thing starts. I started it and it started. I drove up and down to break my motor in. When I deployed the trolling motor, installed wrong. The latch needed to be there. Dude, it was a mess. And had wires hanging out everywhere still. Anyway, long story short, man, I ended up winning that tournament. And I was like, holy crap. So with that like check and what I had, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to fish the tour next year. And I'm doing the math calculations, all this and that. I was like, dude, I got a mortgage in my house.
I love it, man.
So I mortgaged my house, but at least I did it smart because, again, as irresponsible that all this sounds, the responsible thing is I want to make sure my family's taken care of. And, I was like reading all these motivational stuff. If you want to take over the island, burn your boats. Oh, that's stupid. I'm going to keep the boat. So
the Gary V stuff, Gary V, he's like,
Yeah.
your parents in the face, throw your kids in the river. You too can be successful like me. Like it's
Yeah,
all
they're a little extreme. I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I mortgaged my house and I decided to start my insurance business in conjunction of trying to figure out this professional fishing stuff. I had no idea what I was doing.
Same year this happens. The insurance business happens when you go east. Okay.
Yep. So I went into 2 businesses without a plan, man. No business plan, nothing. I'm just gonna figure it out. And in the insurance world, dude, they don't really tell you nothing. Like you just got to go figure out how to open up a business, how to set this and that up. So Google is like my best friend.
Imagine.
Yeah. So anyway, it was interesting trying to figure out both. Man, I was working so much. And sometimes I'm sitting there kicking myself in the butt. I'm like, why did I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7? This is stupid.
Amen to that.
So I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but that year was my first year because you don't make much money in insurance your first year. I mean, it takes about 2 to 3 years to kind of get to a point where you can sustain a living, take care of the family. So it's going to take a while. I got to be patient and just work. On tour, I'm going out to Okeechobee, freaking place. I hate that place. You'll understand why.
We'll get there because we talked about this the other time.
Half of it.
Yeah.
I get there. Oh, well, before I get there, I was driving through Louisiana, and I've never driven in Louisiana. I just remember bumping all over the road. I saw the sign that says, "Welcome to Alabama," like the highway went flat. Next thing you know, I go over a bridge. I felt the jerk. I look in my rearview mirror. My boat was doing a figure 8. Dude, my nut, the bolt underneath the hitch came loose. When it went over that bridge, it popped out. I got like 60,000 miles on that hitch. I never bothered to check it. So, dude, I almost totaled my boat. It was in like 9 o'clock in the morning, rush hour. I'm all over the freeway, and luckily I didn't step on the brake. I just let like everything ease over to the side, the shoulder. I got out. I was in a full panic. But long story short, I went and got a hitch, unhooked my truck, went and got a hitch, put it on, jacked it up, popped it in, drove it to the next stop, inspected everything. Dude, nothing was wrong with my boat. I had 2 dents. So from there, I drove all the way to Florida with a smile. Okay. I get there, had a decent day, first day of practice. The second day, my motor breaks down. I had a trim actuator go out. So I missed probably about like 3 hours in the morning, drove to a spot. Dude, I found them. SeaWorld, fish everywhere, got a bunch of beds marked. I had 19 flip bites, and I set the hook on 3, had a 4, a 3, and a 2. And, dog talk, everybody says it usually takes 12 and a half to high 12 to catch a check here. I'm like, that's easy. I got this. Well, anyway, the tournament starts. I catch 2 real quick, a 12-incher and a 2 1/4 pounder. And I tongue hooked the 2 1/4 pounder, like it was bleeding everywhere. So I threw them back. Anyway, 2 o'clock, I find myself in a full panic because I'm still sitting there with a 12-incher in my live well. Like, dude, why did I throw that 2 1/4 pounder back? I whipped out a sinker rod. I caught my limit and came in with 8.5 pounds. I just remember feeling so embarrassed. Second day, all right, maybe that's an off day. Went out there, got 8.5 pounds again. I finished 132nd out of 158 guys. So embarrassing. And I'm in full panic mode. It's like, dude, I'm about to lose everything if it's like this all year. Luckily at Smith Lake, turned it around, got 6th place there, 6th place at Murray. And
I beat them too at Smith, right? Not to cut you off, but I remember that. I remember
yeah. Dude, that was one of the funnest tournaments. And I don't know if people know the story how I found them. So the first day I had a decent practice, nothing special. The second day, dude, my motor breaks down.
I'm seeing a pattern here. I see a pattern here.
So anyway, I launched out that dam and I went up. And I don't know nothing about Smith Lake. You guys got to remember, I have never fished back east except for Wheeler on a Toyota championship back in 2012. That's the last time I went back east. Anyway, I don't know anything about Smith Lake other than those are the same spotted bass that they put into Lake Shasta. So I just the same approach. When I had broken down, man, I'm just like over it, right? I'm just like, dude, this is not going good. I had to limp the motor back. It wouldn't go, it'll go into gear. It'll just let me idle. Anyway, fishing my way back towards the end of the day, I started getting into them. They were the decent sized fish. And I remember taking that S waver, threw it out there, and had a 5-pound spot, just kiss it. That's all I needed to know. Come game day, I'm bouncing around. I cashed close to a limit, went to a point, and that I filled out my limit on that S waiver. And in that video they posted, you'll hear me and say, man, I can throw this thing the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of the day, and I caught like a 12 more and just upgrade to what I had. Anyway, I remember, man, this is what I fish for. The swim bait bite, you want to throw that when you got cloud cover, low bear, measure pressure, and all that stuff. So things were lining up the first and second day. The third day started getting tough. And I remember around 2:00, man, I still only had 4 fish. I needed one more good one. And I'm going down this bank. I decided to just run over there. It looked good, threw it out there, and I caught like a 3-pound spot. I'm screaming from the top of my lungs, just like on top of the world, man. I just remember that feeling. And I remember thinking, like, dude, my family is going to be all right for the next like 2 months at least with that check. And yeah, sounds irresponsible, but those are the highs I look for, Fed. Like that's what does it for me. And anyway, that I ended up like I think I was in second trailing John Cox. So, last day the swim bait bite wasn't there. I think I didn't get any on it. I ended up catching them on the Senko, and I was still forcing that bite because I'm trying to close the deal. I'm going to throw that swim bait, try to close the deal. And dude, I smashed that swim bait on a dock. I was like, oh crap, I'm done. But that's the best thing that ever happened to me, because the very next cast around that dock, picked up a Kitech swim bait, caught one, got the rhythm going, ended up catching 4. I needed one more. I ran into the weigh-in. I literally had like less than a minute to fish. I stopped on this dock. I had about 2 or 3 casts there. On my second cast, I catch a fish, and that's how I caught my limit. Anyway, that fish helped me make, an experience the Bass Pro Tour. That was a cool experience. Went out to Lake Murray, same deal, finished 6th there, just throwing a margarita mule later, drop shot, just finding old docks and just throwing it at the front third of every cove and point and things like that. So where the big ones were. So I just basically fished like how I normally would fish on the West Coast. And, that kind of gave me enough money and the confidence to keep going. And the rest of the year was a struggle. I didn't realize how good these guys were. They're good. So
very good.
Yeah, that was my first year. My second year, I decided to go all in, fished the Toyota series out west. And speaking of info, this connects it to
yeah, I love it. You told me this story the other night. I love this.
Yeah, so that year we were allowed to get info up to a certain point. I think it might have been like January, but they announced the schedule. You had like maybe 2 months to gather info. I've never done that before. So I got my notes, wrote all the lakes down on the schedule, started calling everybody that I made friends with the first year. Got as much info as I can on every single one of those lakes. And Larry Nixon, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but this happened. Larry Nixon, man, you burnt me, okay?
The general set you up for failure.
Yeah, we were going to the Potomac, and I had called Larry to get info there, and Larry's like, well, Tai, that time of year, most all the big ones, they're going to be out of the lily pads by that time, so don't bother fishing them. They're going to be going out towards the main river. And he gave me like a 1.5 mile long stretch. He said, if you can find them there, you got the potential to win. So going based on that info, I started in Mattawoman fishing an outside grass line. I'm watching everybody run to the lily pads. And I'm like, I wonder why they're running to the lily pads. The big ones aren't in there.
Larry Nixon said, Larry Nixon, the GOAT, said.
Yep. So anyway, Larry, I love Larry. Larry's
me too, man. He's the best.
Yeah. And I got to room with him at the Tai Au. I couldn't believe that somebody I was watching at the age of 12 comes back full circle. Now I'm rooming with him on tour. That was like a really neat experience. We almost got in an accident together. But anyway, moving on with the story, I didn't have a good tournament, got knocked out after 2 days. I turned on live. Everybody's smashing them out of lily pads. So I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have heard that, right? But again, I know Larry, he gave me info like from what he knows and what weather temperature could have been cooler. Right. I mean, he might be right, but that info might have been, a little early. Like 2 weeks later, they might be out of the lily pad. So I don't think Larry would lie to me. It's just, you have to, there's other factors, right? And long story short, 2012, dude, I freaking lost so much money, had the worst year. Things just did not go right that year. So that was the year I decided, dude, I'm not taking any info. I'm just going to go out there and catch them how I catch them, right? Figure it out on my own. And, things started improving from there. So again, I've never taken info other than when I maybe started out my career, just to get an idea. But I've been fishing so long, I don't need to get info. I've recognized most of the situations when you recognize it. And, you compare that to you look at the water clarity, you look at the cloud cover, what the barometric pressure is doing, time of year, what do you think the fish should be doing? And you take an educated guess on the best bait or whatever. You have a selection of baits, and that's basically all fishing is. It's decision making, right?
That's right.
Anyway, things started improving, and everything was it's a grind. I mean, those guys are so good, and forward facing sonar came out, so we're trying to figure that out. And I decided or switch to master for the fam. Are you there still?
Yeah, sorry, you cut out. I think you said you switched to Bassmaster.
Yeah, switched to Bassmaster's Open to try to qualify for the elites because the classic, man. I mean, who wouldn't want to fish the classic? And the name elites is something I grew up watching. So the nostalgia of being an elite. So that was my goal. I set that goal up. Things didn't work out the first year. Dude, I spent a lot of freaking money that first year. Not to scare anybody away. Okay. I made it all. There was 9 tournaments. I made it to 8 tournaments, and I saw I didn't have enough points to make the top 9. I think I was like in 28th place or something. There's no way.
Not bad. Let me stop you right there. That's not bad. Out of that group of guys, 28th. If you finish 28th in the Elite Series points, you're going to the Classic every year. You know what I mean? I've had this conversation with a lot of guys. That top 9 is so hard to get into, but a 28th is respectable, but you're getting crushed financially at that point in those.
Yeah, because you don't win a lot, and I know that. I know the numbers.
I know going in.
So I was okay with it. Luckily I had the financial backing from the sponsors to do it. I did it the right way, the smart way, and it was a lot of fun. But okay, year number 2, let's try again. So this year they changed it, and man, the 8 plus I fished the U.S. Open that year. I spent $82,000 fishing. I couldn't believe it. Like when I did the math at the end of the year, I couldn't believe it. And I asked a few other guys. I mean, some guys were up at 100, but most of them are around where I'm at. And I was like, oh man, looking at how they changed Division 1 and 2. See, there's 4 and 4 plus 3 EQs. Dude, that's way too many tournaments for me, running a business and having a family. So I saw Division 2 sets up to be a lot better for me because I've been to most of those lakes. They set up how I like to fish. So I just fished that one. And I mean, it was hard getting in. Luckily, I got in, had a good finish at Leech Lake. I mean, that one was one of those tournaments where, dude, you can be up here, fall down here, you can be down here, move up here because someone moved down. It's, man, everything flip-flopped there. So I got in. Now, I will admit, my 3 big weaknesses, okay, fishing back east, I figured it out. Smallmouth fishing up north, the Tennessee River in Florida. And all 3 of them were on there. So I was looking at the lakes. I was like, dude, they couldn't make this any further for a guy in Arizona if they tried. Think about it. If they tried, they couldn't.
Legitimately. Yeah, legitimately.
Florida. And then right in the middle is Wheeler, right? So, hey, it is what it is. You tell me where to go, I'll be there. I made up my mind. Dude, if you can have a tournament up in the moon, I'll figure out how to strap my boat, my bass pack to a rocket and get there. So, again, when I set my mind to something, man, nothing's going to stop me. Or at least I thought. We'll get to that in a second. Anyway, had a great event at Champlain. For me, catching over 20 pounds, a little over 20 pounds a day. You know, the weights were right there. You know, one little big one move you up, 10, 15 spots. But, man, I was pretty proud of that because that's my weakness. And I'm like, here we go, Tennessee River. Dude, I usually just bomb at the Tennessee River. I get there, had a good finish, all right, cool. I'm in position. Oh my God, is this really going to happen? Man, I was so excited. So I was in 16th. I was only 12 points out. Florida was setting up to be a tournament where, again, the points can really go one direction or another. We had that cold front. And every time I go to Okeechobee, something bad happens, okay? The second and third time, the second time, the deal with my nephew, the third time, my sister-in-law, and this time I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a cold front. I get there, practice didn't go that great the first 2 days, but I saw what I wanted to see. I saw what areas I want to fish, which it wasn't the rim canal.
Yeah. Let's preface that. Yeah. You wasn't scoping in the rim canal.
Yep. So the cold front hit the third day, dude. The water temp dropped by 10 degrees. It was freezing. And someone had told me that the cold in Florida isn't the cold up north. Like 42 with the wind chill. I think it's because the air is so humid when it hits your face. It's like wet air, and it's just colder. So I was freezing. The water temp went down 10 degrees overnight. That is a recipe for horrible fishing in Florida. So anyway, that's cool. I mean, that kind of mixes things up, makes things interesting. I'm fine. 26 years of tournament fishing experience in my head and get lucky. We all have to get lucky. We all have the skill to capitalize on luck. We just need to get lucky. So that's how the tournament was setting up. Well, my bad luck was starting. Trolling motor goes out first thing on the third day of practice. Starts beeping. I figure it out. Just needed a calibration. Everything's good. Run to the next spot. Goes out again. As soon as I deploy it, goes out. This went on like 4 or 5 times, and it just finally quit on me around like 9 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I took it to a shop. They didn't have parts. Sent me all the way to the Kissimmee. So I drove half an hour there, waited for those guys. Shout out to those guys. I mean, they literally stopped what they were doing. They had a few projects ahead of me, but they literally cut to me because I'm there for the tournament. Those guys are fishermen, great group of dudes. Was that Lake and Land Marine?
I believe that's right.
Okay. So those guys are super awesome. Make sure you guys check out the store if you're in the area. I mean, beautiful store, beautiful dealerships where they sell Vexes and Bass Cat, and they got a beautiful tackle shop. Anyway, with that being said, they fixed my trolling motor. It was the board, and cool. I'm happy. I go out there. I already lost like maybe over 4 hours now. I launched at the Kissimmee launch ramp. I drove all the way down to about where Tin House is to kind of finish off practice. I get 20, maybe 30 minutes on my trolling motor, and it goes out. So I have to drive all the way back in, get to them just in time, like 15 minutes before they close. They didn't have the parts to fix it. So they hooked me up with the Lawrence rep up north, which she's 2 hours north of there. So I had no other choice. I drove 2 hours north, 3 hours or uninstall my trolling motor, take his. I threw it in my truck, drove all the way down 3 hours to Roland Martin Marina where I was staying. I didn't get to sleep until like 11 something at night. I'm tired, man. So I didn't get a lot of sleep because I'm in that work mode. I get up, install my trolling motor, and talk about bad luck. Dude, I needed electrical tape. Okay. So I went and bought electrical tape at that Napa. Drove all, back. Dude, the electrical tape did not stick. Never had that happen. So I'm like, dude, what is going on with my luck right now? So I drove back to Napa, returned it. Well, I didn't want to get the same brand. They had one more of the other brand. Picked it up, gave it to him, and I was like sticker shock. I'm like, how much is this? $12 for electrical tape. I'm like, well, got to buy it. Go back. Dude, didn't work. It didn't stick. Go back, return it. And drove to Ace Hardware, got electrical tape. Just getting electrical tape is a mission, okay? I installed the trolling motor, tested it. This whole time I knew I had a polygraph at 12. Wasn't even stressed out about it. I didn't talk to anybody, nothing to worry about. Never worried about a polygraph, never had an issue before. And I've taken plenty of them. So on this particular polygraph, I get in there and, they're asking me a series of questions, which is, are you sitting down? Are the lights on? Do you plan on telling them the truth today? And then a long one. They said, did you solicit any information from a non-public source to gain a competitive advantage? So my brain, man, I can't dude, I'm super tired. I'm stressed, dealing with all this crap. I don't know what it was, nervousness. Somehow I broke that question down in 3 different parts: the solicitation part, the non-public source, and then the competitive advantage part. So the first part, I didn't solicit. Nope, didn't ask anything. Second part, non-public source. Well, I guess that's Josh Butler, where I kept my boat at his house before I picked it up. He just, before I went to bed, he said, hey, man, good luck at Okeechobee. Make sure you check the rim canals. And I'm like, bro, don't tell me anything. He said, dude, I'm talking, he's talking about the Elite Series last year where a bunch of guys smashed them. And we saw the videos. And when we were at Norfolk, we were watching it on YouTube, like amazed that they were catching them that good in the rim canal. So I know about it. I've seen the videos. We watched it.
Everybody knows about it.
Everybody. So it's public knowledge. It's nothing that gave me a competitive advantage. I wasn't worried about it. But again, because he's the only person I talked to at Okeechobee, I have to go back, put myself into that spot, scan the entire 30, 45-second conversation, and pick it apart. Nothing was wrong. Like, I didn't ask a follow-up question even. I did what I was supposed to do. And then the last part, the competitive advantage part, and how I broke it down the first time, well, I guess I would have a competitive advantage if I saw the video, someone else didn't, and those fish happen to be there. Okay. Mm-hmm. But again, that's how I thought about it.
Also, the rim canal is gigantic.
Yeah.
The rim canal is gigantic. There are various miles of rim canal that you can fish.
You were legitimately trying to get info, and you asked your buddy, hey, man, how'd you catch him at Okeechobee? Oh, the rim canal. You're like, really? Dude, how many miles do you think that is?
I mean, it's
over 100.
Yeah, close. It's got to be.
If you count all the docks and water passages, all that stuff, dude, it's huge.
It's the equivalent to me of saying, "Hey, man, last time I was at Okeechobee, I caught him in the reeds." you catch him in the reeds, Ty. I mean, it's pretty generic.
Dude, you might as well say, I caught him in the water.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much water. So anyway, I mean, again, he's referring to public info. At first, I was kind of like, dude, what, don't put me in that position. And then I thought about it. It's like, okay, dude, you're cool. Like, you weren't trying to screw me. Because I'm so nervous about that.
And you didn't ask, right? It's the
I did not. Didn't ask follow. Yeah. And it sucks because that right there caused me to fail the polygraph somehow. Okay. And, I even took it a second time later on that evening because, I was telling Hank, dude, we went for a ride. Hank was trying to get stuff out of me, saying, "Tai, is there anything else? Is there anything else?" Asked me like 6 times. I'm sitting there, Hank, that's all it was, man. Quit asking me. Like, I would tell you. Like, I don't talk to anybody. It's not my style. Dude, I consider myself a veteran at fishing, tournament fishing. I don't get info. Info screws me over. I know how to fish Okeechobee. I've been here 4 times now. So I'm kind of getting agitated. And before I know it, dude, it was getting dark already. I haven't finished retying. I haven't even got gas in my boat yet. So I got to deal with this damn polygraph. I go back. They asked me, well, Hank asked me, hey, we're going to change that question for you that you keep on getting hung up on. We're going to change it to, other than your conversation with Josh, did you gather any info from a non-public source to gain a competitive advantage? Yeah, I'm fine. Let's roll. And dude, I'm pissed. And they made me walk from my place there. My heart's beating fast. I'm sweating. I'm stressed out. The stress sweats that I'm working all day. That's what I had. I was dealing with. My hands were like nasty and greasy, and fingernails were black. Like, dude, I felt greasy, right, from working all day. I sit there, I go through the polygraph test, and then I get sent back. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I went and finished retying, getting torn up by mosquitoes, right? And then I go back up, waiting for his phone call. Meanwhile, I'm talking to a few buddies like, man, this is BS. They're all calming me down, saying, dude, this is going to be fine, dude. You didn't nothing to worry about. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. And, I'm overreacting. I get that call. Dude, he told me that I failed the polygraph. That's when, dude, I just fell apart. Like, I think about all the work that I've done. From last year to this year, I spent well over $100,000. I'm within striking distance, a legit striking distance, and have a good shot of making the elites. All month long, I'm thinking about, man, how good it would feel to finally make it, finally achieve my childhood dreams. It's been my North Stars. It's given me something to work towards. And dude, they robbed me of it when I didn't do anything wrong. So that's the thing that, man, I can't get over. And I was driving like a madman home. I never made it home that fast because anger just kept me up. From Florida here, it's a 36-hour drive. I stopped only to sleep in 4 hours. I woke up and drove the rest of the way, not even tired. We were on the phone for a while too.
Yeah, we talked for a long time.
Yeah, and I was just taking phone call after phone call after phone call. So it didn't even seem that long because when you're on the phone, you're like, crap, I was on the phone for an hour with this guy. And my voice is, it feels like I'm losing my voice or getting sick. I don't know. But I mean, at first, I thought that was the end of my career. Like, I thought I was going to lose my sponsorships. People are going to label me a cheater. That's the thing I was most concerned about. Number two is, man, like the cheating accusations and all that stuff just came to play, man. I was a mess. But I figured, you know what? I got to face this head on, be a man about it. So that's when I shot that video. I just put my phone down, put the little cup, a cup, leaned it up. I just talked, right? I felt like it was 3 minutes. Ended it, uploaded it. I went to go lay down, and I just like didn't know what to do. And you know what? I got to call some of my sponsors. So I started calling around. I couldn't even like have a conversation with them. I was just a mess. Got off the phone with them. I looked at all the people commenting, and I'm like, dude, I remember like 8 years ago, I stopped by to, help somebody at the ramp, or the people I stopped by just to, talk, just sit there and just talk. I didn't know that had an impact on people that they would remember and write on my posts. All the times I've just helped people, and everybody was vouching for me. And I think the thing I'm grateful for, which kind of sucked to be grateful for, but I wasn't the only guy. There was a bunch of other guys that this had happened to. But when it happens to somebody else, you don't know what's going on. There's always that question in the back of your head. I wonder if I know the full story, right?
Absolutely. Two sides all the time. Yeah, always two sides.
Well, this time there wasn't that. I know exactly what happened. I know exactly what the conversation was. I know exactly, that this time here, dude, they got the wrong guy. Literally, I live my life by a code. I don't cheat. Like, dude, you're talking to the same guy in California. My co-angler yelled at me. It was a non-shared weight Wild West event. It would have been my first win. I would have won $28,000 with the Evan Brood contingency. And, I was fishing for a bed. The boulder was there, and it was like a clay bank. So any boats that run in and out causes these little waves, hits the bank, and that clay starts to get dirty and muddies up the area. By that time, it was probably like just before 11. I couldn't see the fish anymore. It was all like starting to mud over that murky water, but I could see the boulder. So with a Texas rig, I just kept on pitching on the right side of this boulder, and I leaned back. My rod starts moving. I'm like, oh, he has it. Set the hook. My line wrapped around his gill and caught him in the bottom part right here. Dude, it was almost a 6-pounder. I would have won with that fish. So no hesitation at all. Unhooked it, threw it back. My co-angler starts screaming at me, "Tai, why'd you throw that fish back?" I was like, I'm pretty sure that was the bed fish I was fishing for. And he's all like, "Dude, but you didn't see it. You didn't intentionally snag it." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's right, but I'm pretty sure it's the bed fish. I don't think I would pass a polygraph if they polygraphed me on this." But at the same time, if you were to ask me a question like, "Are you 100% sure it was the same fish?" I couldn't say yes. I think I was over 90% sure. But dude, I'm not going to steal from my friends. A lot of these guys are my friends that I compete with. And I like to go out there with, and I don't want to have any advantages. I want to see who the best man is for that day.
You want to beat them.
Yeah, I want to beat them fair and square. Yeah, this is the sport that I love. I fish it for the love. I don't fish it for the money. If I fish it for the money, dude, you think I'd be here? There's no money in fishing. There's so much more money to be made elsewhere. And yeah, I'm one of the fortunate guys that have great backing, great sponsors, but it's hard to make a living nowadays. As you know, we were talking about the other day, the sport is just getting so much harder. Eyeballs are everywhere. This thing that happened with me doesn't help the organization, doesn't help the anglers stay motivated to pursue it. They're scared now. Okay. And I guess what's done is done. I know what I'm feeling inside. I know I will never fish another bass event ever again. I have no desire to ever make the elites, fish the classic. None of it. They killed it like a light switch. I couldn't believe it neither. So what I'm telling you is not out of anger. It's just the truth of what I'm feeling inside right now. And when I don't want something, I'm not pursuing it. So I see all these comments, "Don't give up on your dreams." I'm like, what dreams? I don't have one anymore. They took it from me. So that's the thing that is really crazy, because just a few days ago, there's nothing more that I wanted to do is to pursue that. And now it's gone. I don't have my North Star anymore. So I'm back at home trying to figure things out. I know I need to be a dad, a good dad. I need to, be a good husband, set an example for my kids. I still want to fish. I love the sport, but I don't know, besides that, what is my purpose? What am I working towards over here? And I think I decided what I'm going to do is just stay in the West Coast, just kind of think things over, watch, observe what's going on out there, because I see some positives. I think that this upcoming year, MLF did a great job. I was added to that chat group. Norby and all those guys working with, I believe, Boyd and whoever's in charge over there to improve the pro circuit. And dude, I absolutely loved it. Any improvement I want to see to our sport, even if I'm not fishing it, I love it, because that's what we need. So hats off to those guys. They did a good job. The Bass Pro Tour, those guys, I mean, it's good money if you can get in. The elites, I'll be honest with you, did not like that move last year. I think I figured that out in 5 minutes of their posting. I saw the payout, and I'm like, wait a minute. You can get 37th place, and I know the cost to do all these things now. You get 37th place. Now, you're thinking at home, oh, yeah, these 37th. Dude, these aren't weekend anglers. No. Top 50 is a freaking accomplishment. But I was looking at 37 because I think there was a price jump or a payout jump somewhere there. I'm like, dude, you would lose money. Like, I'd be pissed off. And I think one of the spots to add insult to injury, they paid a few $100.
It's 500.
It was
Was 500. Yep.
So I might as well go freaking show up at a local tournament at that point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't like it, and then I liked the fact that they added some money into the pot with all the anglers. I mean, it still improved it, but what they should have done, I'm not telling anybody what to do, okay, is keep the entries the same, or entry fee the same. Add that money, that $100,000 on top of first, and now you're fishing for $200,000. Something like that. I think most of us would be happy, right?
Any positive change to a payout would be great in professional bass fishing at this point, because we've been stuck in the same rut for a very long time. It seems since like the early 2000s, it's just been the same.
It's gone back.
Everything else gets monumentally more expensive.
Yeah, it's gone backwards. And dude, I'm saying all this. No, I have a gambling problem, so I want to pay high entry fees, because when you pay a high entry fee, I'll compare it to sitting at the blackjack table. You put $10 in, you win. Who cares? Put $20 in. Who cares? You put $1,000 in and you win. It's a lot funner.
That's right. That's right.
That's all I'm saying. But
well, and at this point, man, in the sport, it is high stakes gambling. It has been for a long time, but where entry fees are, the cost to just travel, boats, trucks, the whole deal, it is as high stakes gambling as it's ever been. But unfortunately, that risk reward thing is not there for a lot of people, man. It's just not. And I don't know how we get there. And that's not a shot at Bass. That's not a shot at MLF. That's not a shot at EPFL. That's the whole thing, man. The whole thing. How do we get to where we were, where there were $500,000 payouts at the Classic? Forest Wood Cup paid $1 million. You had and I know it was non-endemic sponsors, and they just don't exist at that level anymore, I don't feel like.
Yeah, I mean, that's not our job, right? That's their job to go track down and keep those sponsors happy. We're running individual businesses too.
That's right.
We got to keep our sponsors happy. So that's out of our control. But I guess to answer your question, a way that we can do it is support our supporters. When's the last time you heard anybody say that? I haven't heard it. I preach it, but I haven't heard it. My brother actually taught me that. We were luckily, he thinks he's a lot smarter than me when it comes to finances and like how things work. So I remember we walked in, it was like my second tournament, and he has a Mercury. Anyway, he walks over to the Evinrude booth, grabs a hat, puts it on. Okay. And when he goes and sit down, I was giving him crap. I was like, dude, you don't even have a Evinrude. He's all like, you see anybody else around? I'm like, no. He said, yeah, well, if it wasn't for Evinrude, we wouldn't have events like this to fish. So the least we can do is, support them. And, if you see Toyota out there and they're trying to get leads, dude, somebody's in charge of accounting for those numbers. So just go help them by filling out a form to help the numbers. If you see, somebody supporting like maybe an auto shop or a glass company or somebody you support, give that glass company. I mean, a good glass company that supports me, is a good friend of mine. And Charlie, I mean, I'll give him a shout out later on Facebook, but it's a glass company that I use and he supports me, and a lot of my customers are fishermen and they use him as well. So with that being said, support your supporters. It goes a long way, because here's the deal. If they get a return on investment, guess what? They're going to keep putting money into the organization. But if they're not getting it, that's how we lose it. So a lot of people don't think about that stuff. They're just, they see a logo, but they're not understanding why that logo is there. Logos like that is what pays for, the events that we fish.
And no doubt, man. Yeah. No doubt. And I think we got to a place with sponsors, though, that my wife and I were actually talking about this. Like, and I think maybe you and I talked about this on the phone the other night, because I brag on your social media so much and how you approach it. But we got to a point, and I think this goes outside of fishing as well, where we are sold to all the time now, right? When you get on social media, you know, we could say something right now and it'll pop up on your algorithm and my algorithm, you know, however that works. So they're listening. But I think the support the people that support what we love. I've said that a lot of times over 8 years of doing this. You know, go support the folks that support the industry, that support the anglers that you enjoy following, that support the trails that you fish. Go support that. But I do think we got to a place where fans, anglers, and just the general public alike, I think people are a little jaded by getting sold to all the time. Unfortunately, I think social media definitely did. But you're spot on, man. That's how you keep these things going. Is there has to be an ROI. There has to be for these companies, or they just come and go. And we've seen that with MLF. We've seen it with Bass. There's a flash in the pan deal. They get signed with some big company, and then 2 years later they're gone. When the deal's over, they disappear. Unfortunately.
And you know, that's in those situations, you know, as an angler, it's your job to do a good job for your sponsors, making sure they get a ROI. And the biggest danger that you have to avoid is to get complacent. You know, a lot of people think that you just put a logo spot on your jersey and truck and boat, that's going to do it. That's what they pay you for. I don't even count that. Okay.
No.
I count that as maybe, you know, I'm representing the company, but that's not what I do. That's not enough. That's not nearly enough. So in today's day and age, and compared to what it was in the past, is a lot different. And, you know, you can't go by the same advice or how somebody made it 15 years ago and apply it to today. It's totally different. Back in the day, I would say you just need to go fishing. You need to do well. You need to be able to get your do well enough to get these magazine companies to work with you, get articles in there, be on TV, get exposure for your sponsors in that way, right? Now, you know, I mean, when do you read? I don't hardly read any magazines.
No.
You know, because I'm so busy on Facebook, Instagram, social media. You know, I don't watch TV anymore. So this is where I'm going to pin it back on the organization. You know, I've been on TV quite a few times, Smith Lake, Murray, Lacrosse, since I've done this in 2021. Fun fact, I have never seen myself on TV. Why? I don't even know where to watch it. They don't make it available. Why? How come we aren't going to Hulu and YouTube and Netflix trying to sell the shows there, or sell it on the freaking website? You know, I would have bought the season I was in. I love watching those shows. I just don't know where to watch it, so they don't make it available. So, you know, you think about business opportunities like that. And again, as mad as I am with Bass, as pissed off as I am, I still don't want to see them fail. Okay.
Yeah, of course, man.
You know, I've always said this: how come not charging a few bucks for the Bassmaster Classic? I mean, I would pay to go, or I would have paid to go to get in there. And, you know, it's make it like, you know, have some country singers go out there, make it a big deal where it's more like an event in a sense that, you know, that money is used for the organizations, gets passed down to the anglers and things like that. But they haven't done that. So I'm saying, okay. But yeah, there's so many like opportunities to make money, and I'm just seeing so many missed opportunities. But I can't worry about that. I'm just worried about myself. I mean, it's hard enough. It's hard enough just to get the sponsorship dollars. The market's always changing. So I guess you compare it to today, you not just only have to fish, you have to be a personality on social media. Attention is the new currency now.
Yeah,
and yeah, you show me your network, I'll show you your net worth. And you just got to grow your network as big as you can, and grow your channel, grow, you know, your personality, and be yourself. Like, the best advice anybody's ever given me is actually Dean Rojas. I've never talked about this. I was hanging out with him in Gunnersville at a concert. I forgot who was playing. And we were just talking, and I remember, man, he was feeling down because he was having one of those off years, and I'm just trying to get advice. Okay. So when I get info, it's never about fishing. It's about the business side of it. I'm trying to learn that stuff. And I remember what he told me. I was like, when I got on tour, I was really worried about because I know myself. I know I just want to be like one of the guys, post whatever I want, make people laugh. I love making people laugh as much as I want to fish, maybe even more. So that's what comes naturally to me. And it's easy for me to come up with the content to make people laugh. So I'm going to stick with it. But when I got on tour, it's like, man, I don't know if I should do this because I don't want to piss anybody off and lose sponsors. And I was telling Dean that, and Dean looked at me. He's like, dude, just be yourself. Because I didn't know who I want to be, like, as far as like, don't want to wear the hat where I'm always professional and always trying to sell you something. Like you said,
yeah,
I don't want to see that anymore. And if you look at and pay attention to guys that are no personality and just always selling and promoting for their sponsors, they don't have a good level of reach, if you will. They might have a lot of followers, but they don't have a lot of interactions. They don't make it fun to follow them. They don't share their stories. I like to see that stuff. One of my favorite guys to follow, Swindle. I mean, I love funny guys. I love guys that are able to loosen up, relax, have fun, but also, I respect their skill set, their competitiveness, things like that. So that's why I follow people. I'm not saying everybody does that, but I like to follow people who are educators, entertainers, motivators. And again, although my social media is all over the place, there's a method to the madness. I try to be about 70% entertainment, 10% promotional. And, you throw in motivational, that's where the stories come in, showcasing like, hey, man, I started from the bottom, so you can too. I didn't come from a rich family, but my parents, dude, when they freaking jumped in that boat with Toddler, my oldest brother, and with the backpack that they had on, jumped in the boat to escape the North Vietnam. I mean, they were shooting at them. I mean, it was bad. You should hear the stories talking about like their side is crazy. They got an amazing story. They risked it all. And they're a big motivation in what I do. And back in 2020, I'm like, dude, I'm a sissy. I'm in America. Like, I'm worried about like, spending the money to go live my dream. Dude, they jumped on a boat, set sail, left their home country with a child and maybe a bag or two. That's it. They didn't know how things were going to work out, but I'm glad they did. Because, man, I don't know what I'd be doing back in Vietnam right now. So,
not low budget live.
Yeah,
be doing low budget live.
I don't think there's bass over there, but yeah, definitely wouldn't be in a bass cap. So, yeah, be in a canoe, selling coconuts or something.
I love me some Tai. Holy crap, dude.
Anyway, dude, they came here and that's where our richness comes from. I mean, they came over and they're just, man, they're such hard workers. My dad was a backyard mechanic. That's why every time I break down, I've broken down a lot. 3 times in my truck this year, lower unit. My truck went out last year. Somehow I was able to freaking fix it. Thanks to YouTube, mostly, but I'm able to fix it. Dude, he came over here not knowing to speak English, got a manual and just looked at pictures and figured out how to put together a transmission. That's amazing,
wow.
Right? And he was a welder. I think he worked his first job, I think only lasted like a month. And his second job was at R&R Products welding. Dude, he was there all the way until he retired recently, just 2 years ago. That was amazing. I mean, and they just showed me what hard work was like. So if I can work as hard as I work, I don't even think I work as half as hard as my dad. And then my mom, she was working at a microchip factory. And I remember growing up in Tucson. I mean, there's not many Asian kids or Vietnamese kids. I got teased a lot. They'll say stuff like, man, they ain't coming out with a free Willy folk because Ty's family caught his ass. I had to defend myself all through school. So that's kind of it made me who I am today because I can talk some smack.
You got some thick skin, dude. You can dish it out and you can take it.
Yeah, I can take it, dish it out. I love it. I love it when people dish it out, and especially if it's a good joke, man. I'm sitting there cracking up. Go ahead. I don't care. I love that stuff, man. So that's why, like, I don't take things too serious, man. I think as a society, here's what's wrong with society. Everybody is literally sitting there looking for what's wrong. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, that's where we're at daily now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what you post, they are looking for something wrong. If there's nothing wrong, guess what? They're going to try to make up something wrong because their lives are so miserable, man, that they don't have any other way to get validation. So they post something negative, hoping somebody else that's a negative loser jumps in, clicks like, joins them, and that's their little high for the day. Yeah. That's what's going on. So when someone hates and bash on me, I just think of that and also think, man, if Jesus had haters, dude, I'm a fool to think I'm going to go through life without haters. So it's just a part of it, and just know that they're the ones with the issues and the that things that they got to work out, not you, because none of your happy friends do that.
No normal person does it. I feel like normal people don't comment negatively. Like my favorite thing, my wife says this all the time. Shout out to Marissa, the Triple Threat, who is a big Tai Au fan. She said to tell him, I told you she was shook by this story. I've shown her your stuff over the years, and she follows along. She saw it. She's like, what is going on with this? She actually texted me from work the other day about it. But man, I think my favorite comments are like people that'll watch a video and they're like, just wasted an hour of my life watching this shit. And you're like, dude, I would never do that. I would never A, waste an hour of something I didn't like, and B, then go, you know what? I'm going to let this guy know he wasted an hour of my life. I would just I spend a lot of time on YouTube, man. Like you said, I don't watch a lot of TV, YouTube, Netflix for the most part, but like I just watch a lot of, whether it's music, fishing, whatever videos on, and I don't ever comment like, you piece of garbage. Why did you make this video? I don't. That's
Again, I'm very aware of what I do and what I want people to do and what I don't do and expect them to do. And like one of the things that I always crack up about is I'm like, man, people are greedy with the likes. Like, dude, you would think it cost them $20 to like something. Yeah. I got into so many people, man, I love your Randy Howell memes, man. And I'm just really observant. And I'm like, dude, I never see you click like.
I never see you interact. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's rare for me to click like on something. So I can't really.
Same way, man. Like I see so much of your stuff, and I interact some, but I feel like it's like that with all my buddies and all the folks I follow. I'm like, I will get in a mode where you're just swipe, and you see it and you laugh and you're like, heck yeah. You might look at the comments, but I, like you said, support the supporters. I think the same goes for folks you follow, man. You need to drop a comment. You know, if you like something. Interact, it helps people out for sure, but I am the worst about it for sure. Like I'll just go right by something and be like, oh man, that was awesome, and then not interact and move on to whatever else I'm doing. I know a lot of people are like that.
Sometimes, man, I'm just like laughing at myself because I always joked around. It's like, man, getting people to like your page and curing cancer is like the two hardest things in life.
No doubt.
It takes forever to grow my social media. But again, just got to be patient. That's a number I don't even look at anymore. I'm thankful for the current followers. And that's the thing that really saved me from all this, by the way. When I thought my life was going to end with that news and thinking, man, I can never show my face fishing tournaments again. The fishing industry is going to be done. Something that I love. Dude, that was devastating thinking that at that time. But when I saw the video or posted the video and read the comments, and it just kept going, man. And that's the thing that I'm like, dude, things might be all right. And it just kept going all the way back to Arizona. I made another video, just give people an update. That video did just everybody just supporting me. and basically calling out BS, because the thing about being open to people, like my buddy, my 2 tournament partners, Doc David, Daniel Elias, they get so pissed off at me, because they're they're local guys. They're kind of secretive. You notice that a lot of the local guys are secretive. The tour guys aren't as secretive. Most of them aren't, especially when we travel. When we get done with a lake and we caught them, we'll tell you.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah.
I take an extra step. I'll tell you at my home lake. I don't care. Example, last year when I caught that 9 something, 9.4, 9.7, whatever it was on a buzz bait.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. Dude, I remember at the end of that tournament, people asked me, and I didn't know these guys because I don't fish that many local tournaments anymore. And they were asking me. One of the guys knew me. I didn't know the other 4 or 5 guys standing around. And he asked me, "What you catch him on?" Double buzz, man. Green pumpkin. I even told him the color. And the other guys looked at me, and I'm reading his body language like, "Dude, you're freaking lying, right? Why would you tell us that?" Anyway, I rushed home, dude. I posted the video, had everything in there, so now he knows I'm not lying. But here's the thing: I've done that for so long, and I just like to help people. Money doesn't motivate me. Money is not everything, and what I do, what I love, and money is just a byproduct of that. So I don't go chasing dollars. If I can just help somebody, like I own an insurance business. I've referred people out so many different times because due to their situation, I think something else is better, whether, they got a couple of speeding tickets, things like that. I just know so many brokers, and I was like, man, I'm not assigned with this company, but I know they would be pretty good. And you might want to check with them. So I'll help you even if your stuff isn't with me. Hoping just for a referral or a good word later, but all that stuff, all that time, just living my life that way, all came back full circle when all this stuff happened, because no one believes what had happened. Like they're not pinning me as a cheater. I'm not a known cheater.
That's right. You're not that guy.
No. Because I don't want an advantage on anybody. I fish these local events and, mostly show up with no practice all these years. For like the last 12 years, I just show up, and my attitude is just, it's fun. And that was kind of by accident because I couldn't afford to take Friday off. So I had to show up and just fish. And at first, I remember feeling really frustrated, man. Really frustrated because I thought, oh, man, if I just caught one more 2.5 pounders, we could have got a check, or if caught like one little 3 pounder, we would have won. So I started getting closer and closer and closer and getting better and better. But what it taught me in the long run is to fish the conditions. Okay. And yeah, I show up. Daniel, okay, he's a meticulous guy. Ties everything on probably the week of. And his boat's super clean. Everything's like labeled. Super neat guy. One of those guys. Me, not me. I'm a mess. And when I go fishing with him, we're usually in his boat because my boat's back east. I jumped in and have nothing tied up. Nothing. Whatever is tied up from like a month ago when the last time I fished, it's on my rods. I get out there and I look at the barometric pressure, the wind direction. I already know what time of year I look at, like the water level. I tie on like 2 or 3 rods. That's it. And I start off with that. And if I really want to throw something, I actually kind of have to work for it. So it helps me make the right decision because I don't want to go through all of that.
Yeah.
Not to waste my time. You know what I mean? So it's helped me with the decision making. So that's why when people are like, man, I don't have the time to put in and to compete. Well, I didn't either. It just takes time to get better. You will get better as you put years into this game. A lot of people look at the guys out there. I mean, yeah, I'm obviously not a spring chicken, but I've been at this for what? I've been tournament fishing since I was 16. I'm 42 now. A long time, man. So there's a lot of experience and a lot of scenarios that we've been faced with. And once you recognize it, you know what to do. That's all it is. It's just experience. When the water's this color in this time of year, like, okay, last time I caught them doing this, so you try that and it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but you still gotta get lucky and find the fish. That's all it is. So I wouldn't overcomplicate fishing. And that's the thing that's frustrating about all this stuff, man, is knowing that I'm that type of person. I don't get info. I did everything right. I stopped Josh. Hey, man, don't tell me nothing. And dude, I still got sent home and they killed my dream. And it just sucks not having something to work for right now. So I got to figure it out. I'm still thinking, trying to be positive, trying to find the positive out of this. And already I'm starting to pick, things out that, well, holy crap. I didn't know I had the following I had, like the sport. Yeah, man. I really didn't. I swear to you guys. And that one right there, dude, my phone, I still got 113 text messages. I don't know if you see that. That's crazy. That's not including any of the Facebook stuff, Instagram, my personal account. I mean, I glanced at them. I got to get back to them. I just got home. I slept for 4 hours, got up because I was raging still. I've been up. And what's funny about it, I'm not even tired, man. I'm not tired at all.
An adrenaline dump, as they call it.
Yeah. Usually when that happens, I'm sleeping, and a long sleep, like I never sleep this much, would be like 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, I go on 5-6 hours of sleep a night anyway. And I know that's not good, but that's just what I get. And, that's I deal with stress pretty well. I accepted stress. The more stressed you are, the more successful you are.
You got to stick and move, right? Like, yep. It's like boxing, stick and move. I think if you get complacent in life, that's when you get hit by a Mack truck, man. Like, I fully believe that. That's why I do all the things I do. I think you can you can stand there until it turns into quicksand.
When you stand there, you lose momentum.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the unique thing that I've been trying to figure out about fishing. What causes you to get momentum in fishing? Like, dude, when you're on a roll, you can't do anything wrong.
No.
Yeah. But when you're not on your game, dude, you can't do anything right. And you would start to think like, dude, do I even know how to fish? And you see like guys go through those years, and that's why, like, that's another example now tied into fishing that shouldn't rely on your tournament winnings. If you want to do this for the long run, you need the support, you need the sponsors. How do you get that? Well, I think, what would you say? Social media, the most important thing right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think, separating yourself as you do so well. I think you've got to find a way to be an individual in a world that's really loud. Everybody tries that copy and paste.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got sponsors. They say I got to make 3 posts a month, so I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to give people any bit of who I am. I'm just going to go promotional. I think you've got to find a way to separate yourself. But yeah, I think social media, it's crazy what it's become. I've been doing it for longer than I care to admit. I guess 2015, there weren't a lot of fishermen like messing with Instagram and messing with Facebook back then when I was on the FLW tour. And it's like now, and it was so I don't want to say it was easy, but you could get through the noise. Like, people paid attention to what you had to say if they followed you, because there weren't 50 other fishermen on their feed. Now you got to find a way to separate yourself. But I talked about this with Fisher Anaya on the podcast last week. I think it's so important to you just got to be well-rounded, man. You got to understand, like you said, what sponsors want. It's not, oh man, I got a logo on my truck and boat and my jersey anymore. That ship sailed 10 years ago. If you think that matters, it does not matter. It does.
Guys that are sponsored.
Yeah.
Don't have a logo anywhere.
Ever. Yeah, man.
You wouldn't even know a company sponsored that person.
Exactly. Like, but I think people still, I know a lot of Elite Series and BPT guys that still think that's all that matters, man. And they're going to get left in the past if they continue to think that that's all that matters. But I think guys like, I use him as an example all the time because he is the GOAT when it comes to the business of it and the angling side, and that's Van Dam. I mean, you look at that dude, and he was kind of late to the social media game, right? Like, now he's just a juggernaut with all of it. I think, but in our modern world, like I think Wheeler, for what he does on the water, what he does off the water, I think that guy just shows you can't sleep anymore. It's a 24-hour a day job. Like much like you said, you start your own business. You're like, man, I want to go back to my old job, my 9 to 5, so I don't have to work 24 hours a day.
Yeah. People think that just because you work and you're self-employed, that you set your own schedule. I'm sitting there like, you have no idea. Like the whole professional fishing thing, you have no idea. I love when people say like, man, I see the hard work that you put in, but in the back of my mind, I'm always like, you have no idea that how hard it is. Like my schedule in the last 3 months, man, I drove to Minnesota, New York, Alabama, Florida, and mind you, you got the food, the hotel, things that go wrong, the flights, all that stuff come into play, the business back home, the family, you got sponsorship commitments. So you're juggling everything. Oh yeah, I was in California running the Yamamoto Open event there. Yeah. So I make it a point whenever my sponsors need me, dude, I'm there. I've never said no to something that they needed. And luckily, man, I work with the guys over at GSM, dude, great group of guys. And man, they're like family away from home at this point. That was one of the first phone calls was, to Crispin, as you know. I mean, dude, he taught me off the ledge. Luckily I've developed a good relationship with my sponsors, and you need those relationships to keep going in this business, because without them, dude, you're not going to get very far. I would have been broke my second year. I would have ran completely out of money, broke. And yeah, I would have probably been living with my parents and that type of stuff. So, if you're going to do it smart. Don't listen to a Gary V freaking motivational video and burn down your ship. Dude, you need something like, if I was back east, I'll start a lawn mowing company or a tree trimming company, something that I can make my own schedule in order to fish tournaments. Look, man, I've done a lot of stuff I didn't want to do just so we can fish, but that's a part of it. That's life. And yeah, man, I mean, like fishing out there, I mean, the pace sometimes and the weather, you're freezing, breaking down. Like early this year, I swear to you, man, when my truck broke down on the side of the freeway, I started second guessing everything, with the lower unit breaking down, the tournament cancellations, doing all this and that. You're doing all this and that. And then you fish for one day and you could have sat home. So all that stuff, all that bad luck. I remember sitting there. I was like, dude, I should have listened to my mom. I should have opened up a nail salon. Hey, funny story about that.
You're this close to a successful business, and you didn't even know.
Oh, dude.
Tai's Toes. Tai's Toes. There you go, dude.
I don't know what it is.
You're welcome.
I don't know what it is, but I'm starting to get closer and closer to opening up a nail salon, and here's why.
You got to start doing monthly Tai Luke segments where we just turn loose, because I think we can have a really good time.
Funny story about that, dude. So I got teased a lot, like I said, and people are like, man, your mama probably does nails. I'm like, no, she works at a microchip factory. I was so proud to tell them that. So one day I came home from school and I'm sitting there. My mom's like, yeah, quit my job. I'm like, oh no, Mom, what are you going to do? Oh, don't worry. I opened up a nail salon out of nowhere. So I don't know when the meeting was, when the get together was like, hey, we're going to open up a nail salon. But here we are.
Was there a mass email? Yeah.
I don't know, but I think there's something else, because I'm drawn to that business now, because I had to pay for my daughter and my wife. It was $185.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is Asian on Asian crime. Rob, but I'm like,
yeah.
You
said support your supporters, dude. I mean, I feel like that's on you.
I'll give you a full set and a manicure. Yeah.
Tai's Toes, man. I'm telling you. Think about it.
Dude, a pontoon out there during spring break with the nail salon, doing people's nails on the pontoon out in the lake, dude, top dollar.
Have a suit, yeah, live
Dude,
stream it.
yeah, you know where all the parties are at.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Amazing.
So yeah, man, I'm still a little like off delirious from the drive, but I'm just gonna have a good time, have fun. I'm already like cracking jokes. I'm already almost back to where I'm at. Like this morning, then I couldn't help myself posting that t-shirt. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I haven't been on social this morning.
Custom t-shirt. Don't tell me shit.
Oh yeah, I gotta share that one.
So I can't believe just that little snippet got me freaking to think about it enough where I didn't get to fish. So I think my goal and trying to get the good out of it is just to bring awareness to what was going on. And look, guys, I know you guys aren't me. I know that there's a thing in the back of your head. I don't know the full story. I wonder what else. I'm telling you, now there's without a doubt, I know what happened to me. So I'm kind of thinking about all the other guys that happened to this year. And it's going on too much. Because at the end of the day, I've done a lot of research because before I didn't know anything about polygraphs. And I read a lot of stuff about polygraphs and, estimated accuracy rate or it's about 10 to 15% where they get it wrong. So let me ask you this. We'll take the low number just to be, conservative. Okay. So we're not going to overestimate. We're going to underestimate 10%. So if I was the polygraph, 100 guys and you get 10 of them wrong, but the 10, you ruin their careers. They might have a family to support. They might lose their sponsors, their mental health. You put them through the ringer, knowing that you did that guy dirty and got it wrong. Is that okay with anybody? I say no, that's too much. I mean, I get it. They're going to make mistakes, but that number is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yeah, so, I would agree. I would agree that the number is unacceptable. It's obviously, man, it's a tough one because it's how we've always policed this stuff, to a certain degree. But it's definitely, it's been rampant this year, to say the very least. The polygraphs all of a sudden got harder out of nowhere in bass fishing when we haven't seen anybody fail. Ever.
Yeah, I took a polygraph at MLF. There's a guy, Mark, and Mark Daniels had told me when I fished there, hey, man, don't mess with that dude. Like, he's made people cry. So he scared the living heck out of me. And when I finished those 2 top 10s out of 3 of my first events, man, they polygraphed me real quick. So I was sitting down and I remember asking Mark, hey, Mark, how's this work? Are you going to tell me if I pass or fail? Do I have to wait on the results? He said, Tai, it's not a pass and fail. It's a deceptive test. We're going to see if you're being deceitful, what the percentages are, and, if it's conclusive or inconclusive, that type of deal. Okay. So we got through it. I guess he pulls out the report and says, man, you did pretty good. Your score is a 0.0013. I'm like, what's that mean? He said, well, out of 1,000 people, there's only about 13 people that can possibly pass this polygraph and get away with it. And he was telling me, your score is really good because you're practically at 0%. You're not being deceitful at all. Cool. Got up, walk out of there. I was super nervous, man. Yeah. Every time I take it, not doing anything wrong. It's kind of like
everybody's that way when I've taken them. Like when it's not a normal circumstance to be in.
No, you are a psychopath if you're not nervous.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because remember, I'm not saying this is an excuse. I'm letting you know my situation. You guys put it together because I saw some of the comments. Sounds like this guy got a bunch of excuses. Sure, buddy. Okay, put yourself in my shoes. Spent over $100,000 to get there. I got a legitimate shot to make a childhood dream come true. The time difference, dude, it's been a grind for me. I'm under a lot of pressure. And on top of that, I'm hard on myself. I put a lot of pressure, and if you're a competitor, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not one of those guys. I do it for fun, dude. If I don't do well, I am not having fun. It is not fun to me.
Same.
I'll be the first to admit. It's fun to win.
Fun to do good. If you don't do good, it's not fun.
No, I freaking hate it. I'm like, why do I fish when I'm like not good? And then you get a little success on the next one. I love it. So
fishing's great. Yeah.
It's all over the place for me. But at the end of the day, man, I chase those highs, those little moments, the 9-pounder on a buzz bait. Like that is what does it for me. I don't drink. I don't do anything else. I don't watch sports. This is what I love doing. So anyway, with all that being said, man, I mean, like, it's just been a crazy like couple days, and I'm gonna need some time to kind of think things through. But yeah, man, that's where I'm at. And dude, thank you for talking to me yesterday. Just kind of giving me your advice. And
yeah, man.
Yeah, because I needed somebody to talk to, and that's all why I was on the phone a lot. Because as soon as I got off the phone with somebody, I'm sitting there and my mind starts racing.
Yep.
Start getting all bummed out. I was like, man, I'm going to call somebody else. And all I had to do was go through my missed calls. I had an endless amount of people that need to call back. Hell, I still got like 32 people I need to call back right now.
You're going to have to drive back to the East Coast so you can get caught up.
Yeah. But dude, they made my drive so short. Because I think we were on the phone. Was it like over an hour?
Oh, over an hour, yeah.
It didn't seem that like that.
No, not at all, man. It was a great conversation, dude. And look, man, I know you're exhausted. You just got back. I appreciate you giving us time on here and just educating people on the situation, educating people on your background. Because again, I think you're a bright spot in this sport, man. And I really hate that this happened.
Yeah, my deal is, man, I just want to motivate. Look, man, don't let me stop you guys from competing. Don't let my situation scare you guys. You know, I don't know if it's one of those freak situations. Hopefully my situation will get Bass to take a look at how they're doing things, to reassess and adjust. Okay. All businesses make mistakes. So again, I'm saying that from the heart. I grew up with Bassmaster, watching them on TV. I still want to watch it, but I don't want to compete there anymore. I think the scar is too deep, and maybe it's just me. I'm once you burn me, I'm one of those guys that, you burn me once, you're done. Like, and maybe I'm just being overly harsh, but I knew what it meant to me. I knew what it meant, and I know how hard I had to work to get there, and actually how lucky I had to get there. There was a lot of luck. There was 2 events that I wouldn't be there. I caught a 3.5 pounder, like a minute before I had to run back at Wheeler. Dude, I had one little 12-incher. I wasn't even sure it was going to measure. I'm freaking out about them. I go in right by the ramp. I throw out a jig, a balling out jig. I drag it down, get bit, set the hook. I catch a 1.4. Dude, I was stoked about that 1.4 because I don't have to worry about him being bigger than 12 inches. And I throw out again and I set the hook. Dude, I caught a 3.5, put that 1.4 out. And that's why I did well at that event and I was able to cash the check. I cashed a check there on the very last cast. Same thing at Leech Lake. So I got lucky. But I fish hard. And man, when I go down, I'm going to go down swinging. Once in a while, I'll connect. So I don't give up. I'm very thankful that I have that relentless attitude, and you're not going to see me give up. But for people to tell me don't give up on your dream, don't give up on your dream. Well, I'm just letting you guys know there's no more dream there, and that's the thing that sucks about it. But in regards to fishing, I still love it, and we're gonna go see if we can sign up for the West Coast stuff. I don't know yet. I gotta wait till the tournament director gets back conducting his event at Clear Lake. We're going to try to sign up for the Super 60, the Wombass. I'm full sending on the West Coast because some of these events, there's no practice. So I can't get info, right?
You criminal bass fisherman. You're going to be searching for info. You'll be calling Josh Butler in Alabama for Clear Lake advice. You know it.
Oh, dude. Next time I take a polygraph, I'm going to pretend I don't speak English.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tai Au, right there. We got to end on that.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure finally getting on your show.
Hey, thank you, man. And we're going to do another one soon. Tell everybody where to find you all over social.
Yeah.
So if they're not following along on the best social media and fishing, that they can get there.
Yeah, I'm mainly on Facebook. I'll give you 5 letters: TAI space AU, and then just type fishing. You'll see me. I'm the guy with the hat, which I've been meaning. I got to get that off because there's a logo in the background that I'm mad about right now.
Yeah.
Again, I just haven't gotten to it, man. I'm just taking a break and getting some rest, hanging out with the family for the weekend. That's why I was in a hurry home to hang out with the kids and stuff like that. So that's where you find me. Again, my whole thing, I just love making people laugh. Keep that in mind. I'm not here to offend anybody, but once in a while I'll do the educational stuff, share my story. And if you guys have any questions as far as how to get started in the sport, any advice, I'm an open book. Ask me anything you want, and I'm here to help.
No doubt about it, man. If you're not following him, shame on you, but start today. Tai, I appreciate it, dude. Go spend time with the fam.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, that's all she wrote with Tai. Really appreciate him joining in right there. And man, just laying it all out there, you know, and again, this was less about bashing Bassmaster or the rules or anything. I just sincerely wanted people to know more about him. I find him a fascinating character in this world of professional bass fishing, and I appreciate him taking the time out to spend with us lowlifers. All right, I'm gonna take you out with some Biloxi Blues, and I'm gonna get down to Auburn, Alabama for a little high school college fishing, Logan Park's Insane Tournament. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all next week. See you.
Jacksontown to Tupelo, I never could make it last. Spanish moss and Civil War ghosts, well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter, east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name.